Welcome, everybody, to Chatting with the Comic Community. That's right, guys. Chatting with the Comic Community is back for a short period of time, with the last guest being Bobby Delgado. That's right. My first guest is going to be my last guest, but I am going to add a 99 and a half so I can actually get 100 guests in. But on other notes, today is Chatting with the Comic Community, episode 89. I got a guy backstage that has lifted this community up like no other. He was part of the hashtag Grow Together initiative, which really raised a lot of people's channels up, supported a lot of people, and still does it today with his 10-1-1. Sorry. But not only that, he is an acclaimed writer. So without further ado, let's bring out Gary B, the casual comic guy.
Hey, good afternoon, Travis.
Oh,
Don't
good
know about that
afternoon,
acclaim
Gary.
part, but thanks for the compliment.
So thank you, Gary, for joining me. I know we planned this over a year ago. Sorry for the delay, but we're here now. So thank you for actually accepting to come back on and talk a little bit about you.
Absolutely. Happy to come over.
So for the viewers at home that don't know a lot about you, give them a rundown of who you are.
I'm easy, I'm boring. I'm just on YouTube as a hobby and just having fun with people that like the same thing I like. I'm also here too because, you know, it's kind of a video log of years for me, right? And if I'm ever passed away eventually, I want my kid to be able to go back and see his dad if he wants to see his dad, see him live, see him in action, not just with a photograph, and just see him interacting with friends and having a good time and enjoying life, and just try to set an example for him to follow. And but got into comics when I was young, in and out like everybody else. 2019 brought me back into comics when Marvel announced that they had the Conan the Barbarian property back. I got super excited. Always followed it my whole life. I was an 80s kid too. I grew up in all that sword and sorcery and all the 80s horror, all the schlock. So all that stuff piques my little nerd interest. But my channel is just mostly me connecting with my niche audiences. I'm not chasing the big ones. I'm just chasing the people that like the same things I like, so we can have conversations about it. And I got a great niche community that responds to me, that watches the shows I do, and we have conversations about it, and we discuss characters we like. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
That is awesome, man. So I usually start these interviews by asking how you got into comic collecting slash reading. You kind of touched a little bit of it when you got since like a young age. So what was like the first comic that really that really caught your eye and made you be like, oh, this is what comics are. I'm going to continue on to this.
Um, I don't know. See, like a lot of people that remember their first comic, I don't. I was always an avid reader. So when I was young, I just read what I could get my hands on. Rather it was choose your own adventure books. I read all the Sherlock Holmes stories when I was young. I think I read them all before I was 11. Just all the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's, loved them. Just always an avid reader. But the ones that stick out in my mind that I read a lot when I was a kid was, of course, Spider-Man, because it was just great back then. One of the covers that always stuck out in my head, and I can't remember the issue off the top of my head right now because you're asking me. It's just one with him and Jay Jonah, and they have a device that has him hooked by the wrist. Just a fun issue. I always remembered that one. Loved Marvel Team Up. I loved Brave and the Bold was another one of my favorites, with the old blue and gray suit Batman with the yellow insignia. But my favorite was Conan. Conan the Barbarian, King Conan, Savage Sword of Conan. I ate those up. I read those over and over and over again. But most of my reading when I was young, if it was comic-wise, it was Conan or Spider-Man. So those are the two big ones for me.
Those are the two big ones for you. Yeah, because like if I know you and most of the people probably watching know you are a huge Conan fan. So it's not surprising that like at a young age you really uh, gravitated towards that character. Yeah, so it's really fun hearing that story. Now, did you ever break up and be like, "Hey, I'm going to take a break from comics," or were you a comic collector straight up until now?
Oh, I was never straight all the way through. I mean, we all have things happen in life. You move, you're young, you're not around them, you know. So they've always been in and out. This is probably the longest stretch I've been in them. Where I grew up, there wasn't a lot for comics. That got better as I got older. All of a sudden, there was a store there, and they're still in business now. They've adapted with the times. They do great, but um, not always around. Now that doesn't mean they didn't always interest me. Different parts of your life. Sometimes you can financially afford them. Other times you're transitioning, you can't really afford them, so that's the thing that gets cut. But on and off relationship. But happy to be in them again now. And the cool thing about getting back into them now is I was able to complete a lot of things that I wanted to complete and own complete runs of ones I wanted complete runs of, and then read complete runs and catch up with all the story and issues that I missed.
What was it that really brought you back into the fold? Like what year was it? Before the COVID, or was it after?
2019, when Marvel announced they were getting Conan the Barbarian back. Right then, I knew I was getting back in because I wasn't going to miss Conan at Marvel. And then, he only stayed there a couple years. He went to Titan. I got super excited about him going to Titan and not having the chains of the mouse on the creativity of the character. Now, I say that, but there was nothing wrong with those couple years they had Conan. Some great stories by Jason Aaron, Jim Zub, also in the Savage Sword book, some good ones. But Gary Dugan, who did the Savage Avengers run, a run that should have no business working, mixing Conan with these other Avengers characters, and it was a brilliant run from beginning to end. It had, with the exception of 3 issues, which they forced to tie in with a King in Black. Outside those 3 issues, that is just an incredible arc with a very intelligent, very satisfying, very smart ending to that series, which fits so well with somebody that understands the Conan character on another level and just doesn't take the general public view that he's a big dumb brute, which he's not.
So I'm kind of curious. What really drew you to Conan the Barbarian? Like, what was the aspects of the character, the characteristics of the character that really made you fall in love with him?
Well, just his ultimate will to survive. That no matter what's coming his way, he's going to get through it. And that's how I approach pretty much anything that happens to me in my life. All right, this is happening now. It won't be happening forever. I'm going to get through it. I'll see the other side. But that ultimate will to survive, and also him just generally not caring what somebody else thinks, because that's me to a T. I'm not here for anyone else's opinion. If you don't like me, you don't like me. I'm good with it. You're just telling me that it's not worth my time to waste on you, right? And if you do like me and we talk and we connect, and we can be great friends, But it was kind of that attitude through the Robert E. Howard writing and the comic book writing, the wildness and the freeness of him, and just him reacting to the absurdities of civilization and what civilized man acts like when no one's looking at them, right? And or even when they are being watched, the things that people do under the guise of civility, right? And oftentimes someone who just tries to lead a simple life like Conan has a deeper code of honor than any civilized person, who will just screw the person next to them over at their first opportunity if it helps them out even a little bit.
So to stray a little bit away from comics, you kind of, I want to know what other things like you nerd out about. What other things like you grew up like loving, and just reading? Because like you mentioned that earlier that you read actual books and novels and that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to know like uh, what kind of stories really kind of revolutionized you, made you who you are today.
Well, one, like I said, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the Sherlock series, I loved. Um, One of my favorite all times read, and I just read it again this year. Is I read it every couple of years. Is Homer's the Odyssey. I love that story. Um, Great read. I found that when I was young. I've always read it. Most people like the Iliad better. I like the Odyssey. It's always been my favorite. But I'm a huge horror guy. And around 12 or 13 years old, I discovered Clive Barker. And that was it. I read, if Clive Barker wrote it, I was reading it. Loved it. And he classified himself as imaginative fiction. And the intricacy and the weaving of words that he does is extraordinary. So between him and Robert E. Howard, I was always immersed in these cool worlds. And then, of course, you had other authors, but I've read a ton of one-off horror novels, ton of sci-fi novels. Like if you want, like my favorite Robert A. Heinlein book is called Friday. It's about this android woman. Absolutely fantastic. My favorite Heinlein read. But there's just couldn't wait to get my hands on my next book. Like, just I love reading. I love getting lost in the pages. And if I'm reading something, someone can be standing right next to me, start talking to me. I literally won't hear them. I won't even know they're there. I'm that absorbed into the book. So once I start reading, I'm in a different mindset. I can literally block everything out around me, and I'm not even trying to. It just happens.
It's kind of like just your escape, because like by the sounds of it, you're really into a lot of fantasy type stories, like some of the Savage Land, some with
Right.
like
And it has a
sci-fi.
lot to do with how the main hero acts, like the dignity with which they conduct themselves, the honor. People with their own personal codes of honor is what's always been really attractive to me. That they may not be the best person in the world, but they're definitely not the worst. They're good people, but you know exactly what you're going to get from them. Everything they do is up front. It's not duplicitous. It's not behind your back. And those are the heroes I've always been drawn to. Not the scheming, not the let's play this one against that one. Just this is who I am. You're going to have to deal with it. Here we go. And those stories are like, I have another favorite book by Terry Bison called World Maker, Wyrld Maker. It is an odd little read. Found that book when I was young, and that's another book I read every couple years. So unlike a lot of people, perhaps I reread my stuff over and over again. I read Robert E. Howard year round, every year. Just like I watch my favorite movies. And so some of the other things I nerded out on is cinema, right? I'm a big 80s nerd. I was born in 1970. So, love creature horror because it was so big when I was young, in movies like The Evil Dead. And then you had sword and sandals, they called them then, not sword and sorcery. But of course you had Conan, which, I love those two movies. They're not true Conan films to me. I don't think a true Conan film has been made yet. The Death Stalkers are a lot of fun. There was a lot of Italian barbarian movies, a lot of Italian horror, which is really good too. A lot of foreign horror, a lot of Korean horror that is great. Did a lot of manga reading for a while. You're talking about things like Mermaid Forest, which is a great horror series in manga. And the mermaids aren't anything you'd want to meet. They're disgusting, they're savage, they're brutal, but all that 80s stuff just drew me in. And the 80s action, the 80s horror, the 80s sci-fi, the 80s B movie. And I love cheese, but cheese has got to be done right. It's got to know it's cheese, but it also has to have a quality about it. It can't just be cheese and it doesn't just make it work saying, well, it's a cheesy one.
Mhm.
There's got to be a certain element that makes the cheese work.
Now, I got a question for you. You mentioned the Evil Dead, and that. What did you think of like the remakes? Does it live up to the standards of the original, or do you think they kind of went over the board?
I like both movies that they did. I think they're both good, and I think they both have a place in those universes. I think the acting's great in them. I think the horror scenes are horrific, and the body horror is extraordinary. But it is they're good. I love the original trilogy, and I love these two for what they are. I don't compare them because there's something separate, but what they are is also very good. I also love the Ash versus the Evil Dead television series. That was amazing.
And
And I've
nobody
watched
saw
that a
it
couple
either because
times
it
over.
was it was on like it was on Stars, I think it
Yep.
was, so nobody knew it was
Well,
around,
and
so nobody watched
at
it.
first I wasn't excited about it. I'm like, what? They're putting them with two people? I'm like, who are these two people? You don't need them. You just need Ash. Watch the first episode. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love these two people. These two people need to be with Ash from here on out all the time. You know, just great. The Kelly character, the Pablo character, they were just perfect people, and the writing was so good. They were played so well by Dana De Lorenzo for Kelly, and I'm forgetting the poor guy's name right now who played Pablo. And then, of course, you had Lucy Lawless come into the series as Ruby. Everything about it just worked. It gelled. Ash was over the top. He was a jerk. He was even more of a farce of himself than he was in Army of Darkness. And as a character, he keeps degrading as a human being, but he keeps succeeding in spite of himself. And the supporting cast was great, and loved that series. And the music in it was awesome too.
Yeah, so you spoke like you talked a lot about 80s horror, you talked about cheesy horror, and that how does horror today um, live up to? Does it live up to what you expected it is, or do you think that horror is kind of hit or miss now?
It doesn't matter the genre. Every genre has always been hit or miss. I mean, just because I loved 80s stuff doesn't mean that there wasn't a ton of it that was absolute garbage. You know, that you can't rewatch today because it's just that bad. It doesn't matter the time period. It doesn't matter the genre. It's always hit or miss. You're hoping for more hits than misses. I think there's been a lot of fantastic horror lately and different horror. Like some Argentinian horror films, like Legions was great. Like Where Evil Lurks, two great foreign horror movies. The TV series Parasite, a K horror drama, amazing. I can't wait for season 2. A lot of great foreign horrors out there, and a lot of great American horror too. Like one of the movies that surprised me that I loved a lot and was Abigail. It was fun. The script was really good. The acting was great. The comedic moments hit, but they weren't overly comedic. The threat felt real. It was just a fun movie. Another one I recently watched that I thought was great was what was it? I just literally watched it. Where she gets married and she has to play a game at midnight with the family. Ready or Not. Ready or Not.
Okay.
Great movie. Totally caught me by surprise. I'm like, how do you make this concept work? Loved it. Watched it twice in 2 nights, you know. But everybody wants to clump horror into one category. And the thing with horror is I think it's probably one of the most subjective categories because there's so many minute niches to it. Right? You have the blockbuster ones like what? Like Final Destination that's out now. And the franchise horrors, right? Like Freddy or Jason, the slasher flicks. You have the monster horrors, like like one of the best ones last year, and it should be considered horror and sci-fi was Godzilla -1, which was incredible. It was brilliant cinema, but that's also riding the horror line, but it's different, right? It's more, kaiju
Action.
horror, but you have monster horror, you have body horror. The only kind of horror I don't really care for is like Hostel, like that kind of horror, where it's
I've
just
never seen it.
where it's just exploitive horror to be exploitive, but there's not really
Okay.
anything else going on with it. It's just we're gonna put this in your face so we can, and I'm not putting it down. It's just not for me. There's a whole
Mhm.
audience that loves it, and I wouldn't take away their love for it. That's what speaks to them, that kind of horror. But for me, as an example of something that doesn't work for me, again, a lot of times when people are critiquing stuff, if it's not for them, they say it sucks. Because something's for you doesn't mean it sucks. It just means it's not for you, and that's okay. Everything can't be for me. And how boring would it be if everything was catered just to my taste, right? It would be
Yeah,
horrible.
exactly.
It'd be horrible for the rest of the world. So, like when I review things, I review them for the audience they're targeted at. Everyone's like, well, you don't see the Academy talk about it. No, it's not meant for the Academy. It's not meant to be that level of film. I'm not, I'm not watching it for that. There's films that you watch for that. There's films that you don't. Like Jurassic World Rebirth that just came out. Went and saw that. Now the last three I thought were okay, not great. I thought for me, obviously there was nothing wrong with them. They killed it at the box office. People loved them, and people had their hits or misses with this one. But I love the more adult nature of this one. It leaned a little more into the horror side of things, which I liked. I liked the family dynamic in it. So that worked for me as a genre movie. But again, that's not going up to win it. That's people like, well, it was weak on this. I'm like, you know what it is, right? You know what its target audience is? It's targeting fun, fast summer action flick. It's a spectacle movie. You eat your popcorn, you drink your soda, you have a good time. It's not meant to take you on a deeper meaning level trip. It's not. It's not there for that. So I think to be fair to films, you have to judge them on who their target audience is. Who are they made for? Right? Is it made to be an Oscar contender? Then it's fair to judge it on that scale. Is it just a genre flick that's meant to entertain you for an hour and a half to 2 hours? Judge it on that scale. I know I carry on.
No. I'm always fascinated by how well spoken you are on films, and that like you're a cinephile in my mind. How you can like deconstruct movies and even shows and stuff in a like kind of poetic way. I would say, and I thought it's something I can't do. So I always like when I look at it and see it, I'm just like I like that.
Oh, well,
So
thank you.
so besides horror, because it's very very clear that you are a huge cinema fan. What other kind of genres do you did you grow up loving in the movie world?
And just anything that speaks to me on a quality level, right? Like one of my favorite books I've ever read is a book called I Who Have Never Known Men. And I have it over there in the other room, which was a great post-apocalyptic story about this woman's journey through and all these things that were happening to her. Incredible. Or Children of Men, another great read, right? The original Pierre Boulet, Planet of the Apes, a fantastic read. All these books, they have a little bit of sci-fi to them. So I guess I'm more sci-fi tendency. I have a sci-fi tendency where I lean into it a little bit more. But some of the most intelligent stories can be told through a sci-fi element. And, because it's imagination, right? It's as long as you can connect the reader emotionally to the character that's in front of them, most of the time you're going to succeed. And, these are small little books. Lives of the Monster Dogs, another one I read years ago. I don't think anyone even knows that novel exists. Absolutely loved it. A horror book called Dark Debts by Karen Hall. Absolutely amazing read. I don't think anyone besides me knows what that book is. Absolutely phenomenal. Loved it. So I find these little things that speak to me. And I love them. They're what takes me away.
So what kind of like book that hasn't been or even has been, and you just kind of want it redone it with like better graphics, better CGI possibly, that you would want adapted into a movie?
Oh, a novel or a comic?
Both.
Let's say for a comic, what I would love to see in a movie or even like a streaming series is the original Starfire from DC Comics, the 70s series, not the Alien Starfire. This was a brunette. It lasted 8 issues. It was a sci-fi techno barbarian type thriller. Fantastic. Mike Vosberg art, but it was a great read, and it just came out during the DC implosion where so many good series and so many good books just got wiped away before they had a chance because DC had overdone themselves and all these, and we're not going to talk in depth about the DC implosion, but all these different elements came into play where all these series got canceled. And it was just a victim of its time. It deserved better. I would love to see that made, especially, I love my strong female characters. She's one. One I'd like to see redone. We'll stick with a female character. This is a novel. This is a comic. And it's cinema. It's all three. All right. And that is Rima the Jungle Girl.
Not familiar with her.
Yeah. It's again, that was an old DC series based on a novel, but there was also a movie with Audrey Hepburn in it where she played Rima. I would start, but I would have to go into it for about 20 minutes. So it's just look it up after. Great little property, an older property, something that could be revived and reimagined today.
So I'm surprised I didn't ask this already, but you're a huge fan of Red Sonja.
Absolutely.
You're like probably the biggest fan I know. So it goes Conan then Red Sonja for you, or Red Sonja and Conan?
Oh, it's Conan first.
Conan first.
Conan. If you're talking Robert E. Howard properties, it goes Conan, Solomon Kane, Cull, Red Sonja.
Oh, Red Sonja is that low. I wouldn't have thought Red Sonja would be that low.
Red Sonja is different. With Robert E. Howard wrote her. The Red Sonja that you and the public knows today is a Red Sonja that was created by Roy Thomas. And back in the day, and Barry Windsor Smith, right? It was a reimagining of a character, Red Sonja Rogatine. The original Red Sonja, written by Robert E. Howard, had a pistola and had a rapier and was from a completely different time period. Roy Thomas took that character and he took Dark Agnes. Oh, actually, Dark Agnes would probably be third of my Robert E. Howard characters. It would be Conan, Solomon Kane, and Dark Agnes. But he combined those two characters, and Dark Agnes was a French character. Dark Agnes de Chastillon, and she's in her own time period as well. But he combined their sensibilities and put her in the Hyrcanian age. Put her in Hyrcania during the age of Conan, the Hyborian age. So there would be a female character of his equal in the comics.
Okay. So there is a movie. There's still a movie coming out with Red Sonja. How excited are you for that?
I'm about 11 on the scale of 10. So I've been tracking this movie for 2 years. All right. I'm a big fan of the director, MJ Bassett. MJ, she directed Solomon Kane, which was a fantastic piece of genre cinema. It was a little uneven at the end with the CGI monster, but every other aspect of that movie is incredible. And so when MJ Bassett was announced as the director for Red Sonja, I knew it was in decent hands because of the respect that this director showed to the Solomon Kane character. Then at first they had to cast Hannah John Kamen. I was okay with that casting. A lot of people started grumbling. Hannah John Kamen is a great genre actress. She can pull off action. She's done some of her own stunts. She's athletic. She can do all that. So when they announced Hannah John Kamen, I was excited for the Red Sonja movie. When Hannah John Kamen backed out and they announced Matilda Lutz, I was really excited for the movie because if anyone, and everyone's like, oh, she just looks like a model. She can't pull it off. I don't know when people are going to learn to keep their mouths shut about casting because they almost always get it wrong. Michael Keaton can't be Batman. Heath Ledger can't be the Joker. This guy can't be this, and these actors come in, they do their craft, they hit it out of the park, and then all of a sudden that's your favorite rendition of this character. For anyone that is judging Matilda Lutz before they give her a chance, they're making a mistake. Go watch a little horror movie, survival horror movie called Revenge. You can watch it for free on Tubi right now. That movie is brutal. She is fantastic in it. And she is action. She's plays the airy girlfriend at the beginning, goes through a complete transformation to survive, pulls it all off brilliantly, and she feels like a threat on screen. And when she goes after somebody, that person's just in for it. But a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it and you have any doubts about Matilda Lutz being able to play Red Sonja, watch Revenge and you will have a lot more confidence in this film. I thought that I've watched the trailer probably about 14, 15 times already. Loved the trailer. I thought it was really good. I was watching MJ Bassett's live today on Instagram, and she said that wasn't, she doesn't like that cut of the trailer. She had her own cut of the trailer that she put together, and the studio put their own cut together. I think the studio's cut of the trailer is really good, and I asked her if she was going to ever show her cut. So she said perhaps in the future, but she's not allowed to now. But I'd love to see what her cut of that story is. But I thought the story looks solid. The old Red Sonja movie is a horrible movie. I love it to death. I will watch it over and over again, knowing full well it is a badly made movie with absolutely atrocious acting. This doesn't have that curse. It appears, you have an actress that can act. Matilda Lutz has done and been in a lot of properties. This isn't her first time out. She knows how to do action. She knows how to do scene transitions from, one mood to another. I have a lot of confidence in this, especially. I mean, I just made a video 3 months ago, 5 reasons I'm excited for the Red Sonja movie. So that's been doing pretty well for me. So excited that's been getting watched. And but yeah, I'm a champion of it. I think it's going to be good. I've already seen people poo-pooing it, going, oh, it looks like a Sci-Fi Channel movie. Because that's the thing that bothers me about nerddom, right? You want stuff, and when you're given it, the only thing you can do is bitch about it. You haven't given anything a chance. And one of the things that I'm tired of is people judging special effects in trailers before they see the movie. Trailers are known for having unfinished effects in them. It's a sample. It's giving you a taste of what to expect. When you go see a movie and you're watching a scene that's in the trailer, it's cleaned up. It's pristine. It's nice. But people like to give themselves a sense of importance by negatively critiquing other things just to do it. Now, sometimes that critique might be on point, but it seems more often than not that it's a knee-jerk reaction to get your self-attention. And I just don't like it.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you, especially with the VFX and the CGI. It's like they get that trailer out like way before the movie's out, like almost sometimes a year before the movie's out.
Right. A lot of times it's just starting post-production.
Yeah. So it definitely gets cleaned up after. So like that's like the one thing you shouldn't really complain about until you actually see the film. And like a ton of people do that. They like critique the movie before it even comes out. Oh, it's going to end up like this or it's going to end up like this. Okay, have you seen the movie? Like you don't know until you actually watch it.
Right. But for some people that won't matter. They can secretly like it and they'll probably watch it 100 times, but when they talk about it in public, they'll probably still shit on it to look important.
That's true.
Or at least to appear right from what they said before.
So we talked a little bit about the writing that really makes that really attracts you in like books and movies and TV shows and that. But you actually wrote some books. You wrote a book. Actually, I've got it right here. You actually wrote this book right here.
I did, yes.
Neat and that, but this is not the only book you have written. You've written a few others under a pen name, and that
Yes.
we'll get into that in a little bit. But how long have you been writing, and what drew you to actually picking up the pen and being like, you know what, I can do this, and I want to get my story told?
I don't know if I said I can do this. I just wanted to do it. Whether you can do it or not, it depends on who reads the book and if it hits with people or doesn't hit with people, right? If it resonates or doesn't resonate. But if you're an avid reader, you always have these worlds and these characters. You have things living in your head all the time. Things are always going on, right? Like when I set a book down, it's still in my head. I'm still processing it. I'm still thinking about these characters. I'm still living in their world, and things will pop up during the day for me about it, right? But your mind creates things. So I just wanted to get some, right now I'm working on my own sword and sorcery book. It's going to be a departure from that book. I don't want to do the same thing. I just did that. Now I want to do something else,
So, what made you go the novel route instead of doing the comic route?
Because it's 100% my vision in that book.
Okay.
It's gonna succeed or fail based on what I did. So it's just on my shoulders.
Just on your shoulders,
right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I had help. I had Danny do the cover, who volunteered. He wouldn't take any money for the cover. He wanted to do it. Super appreciative of him. Mikhail, who wrote my preface, my introduction. Super thankful to him. He didn't have to take time out of his day to do that. He was happy to read it. Tons of people. I put it out and got critiques from them, because when you write something, you have to have people that are distanced from it view it, because you can't always view it purely. You're going to miss things because you're too close to it. You're going to miss, and the way your mind reads, right? I could read the same paragraph 18 times and not notice that I put one word in there twice, or omitted a word, or used the wrong tense of a word. Someone that has fresh eyes on it will see that and let you know right away. Or some people, and if the best thing someone can do for themselves if they're writing something is give it to someone that will give you honest, helpful criticism to make it better.
Yeah, and I know you reached out to a few people in the community as well.
Yep.
They
DJ
gave
was
you
one.
their feedback.
Yep. Local people here, Dan Cam from Out of the Piano Comics, Geek Spot 82, my buddy Mikhail, some people here locally, so other people in the community. So I sent it out with people I had a pretty good feeling I could trust, and that would give me the right information I needed to make the adjustments I made to put out at least what for me was a quality book worthy of the price I was asking, right? Because I don't want to put something out. I don't want to be a creator that puts something out and go, well, I created it, and you're my friend, you need to buy it. I think that's shitty. I'm not going to ask you to buy something because you're my friend. I'm going to ask you to buy something if I think I gave you something quality that's worth the money you work for, because working for money is hard. You put a lot of sweat into it. There's a lot of other places your money could go. Just because I'm your friend doesn't mean I think that what I created deserves your money. If I'm gonna ask you for money for something I create, I'm gonna do my very best to give you something I think is worthy of your buck. You know what I mean? And as your friend, if I'm asking you to support it, I owe you the best product I can give you. That's my responsibility on my end. If I'm asking you to support something, I better be giving you the best I can do. And if the best I can do falls short, then okay, it falls short. But I did my best. I tried to give the best product I could. And if it succeeds, then yay. You're not screwed out of your money. You got something you feel is worth your buck. I don't have to feel guilty about you buying it because you enjoy it. So I get the satisfaction of giving you something that I thought was the best I could do with it, and it worked.
Yeah. So this one, you actually you put your actual name on it. You've done a few other projects, if you want to speak on those, where you used a pen name. I'm kind of curious why you didn't just decide to use your actual name on those projects.
Because on that, I was just trying to see if the way that I wrote, because I don't know how to describe what my style is. I want to see if the way that I wrote would resonate with people. So I picked the genre that I thought would be hard to fail at. So if I failed at it, I would know I shouldn't write anything ever. I should just step away and just stick to reading, right? Mm-hmm. But the response was way better than I ever anticipated. And people really seemed to enjoy the way that I wrote and the voice that I had. And they seemed to like the stories I told because it wasn't just about the one thing. It was anything I write, it's about the characters that are involved, no matter what the outrageous situation they're in, right? I still try to make people care about the characters that are in the situations, you know, even if it's something a little lighter or a little on the sexier side or whatever you want to call it, the adult side, the risque. But even writing that, for those from story to story, I just did a little series of like 5 or 6 of them. I wanted to like test myself, and like some I came up with different scenarios, so I would have to do research and see if I could write something convincing to people that are into that, never having done something like that myself. So I researched it online, would write it, see what the reaction is, and I got the proper reaction. So it all ended up working. Is any of it perfect? Absolutely not. Could someone else probably write it way better? Probably yes. But I had success with it. It was fun, and people responded.
And all of those other stories are kind of the same kind of genre as this book, but Need is?
Just borderline. I think what you're comparing them, the other ones are pure, like say like some old 80s cinema that I love too, right? Like or even late 70s, like Emmanuel with Sylvia Crystal, where it's an erotic tale, right? These are character-based erotic tales. It's not just about the erotica, it's actually about the characters too. What they're experiencing, how they feel when they're going through it, what's happening with them. And I think that's where most people make a mistake when they're writing something, is they don't pay enough attention to creating a character that you're going to like or care about. This was I was directly influenced from all my 80s viewing. That's what that book is. All right. That's from me loving Species with Natasha Henstridge in it, right? Great sci-fi horror with erotic edge to it. That's all the 80s monster movies I watched, all the black and white 50s cinema where this little town's in danger and it's not going to survive this invasion. And so all that is combined into that. This is all the things that I grew up that influenced me, horror, sci-fi wise, in that short tale. And the other thing that it is that I'm heavily influenced by is Pulp Fiction, like Robert E. Howard. short, concise stories that are meant to be read in a sitting, where I'm not asking you to go on a 3-month journey reading that book. I want to give you something that you can sit down and read while you're waiting to get in to see your doctor, or on your commute to work, or whatever have you.
Yeah,
right.
Nice.
Short, concise. I thought I gave a fair price point. I never got any feedback that said I was asking too much, so I think I did okay with the price point on it. I know the profit margin was very minuscule. That didn't matter to me. I just wanted it out there, and I wanted for people to hopefully enjoy it. And it was probably one of the scariest things I ever did, because what if everybody hated it?
Yeah, that's true.
But I just
your
put
name's
it out
on
there.
this one. Yeah.
Right. And the community embraced it. And in a large part, and it can't be said enough, in a large part, thanks to the efforts of Mark and DJ, who embraced it and promoted it as well. Mark and DJ embracing it and taking it under their wing and championing it really got it to a lot more eyes than I think it would have got to.
That is true, and that's a good thing about the community. They'll definitely see, like, oh, you made a thing. Like, let's highlight that thing. Let's show that thing. Let's push that thing.
Like, to my earlier point, I don't want them to say, "Oh, you made a thing. Let's promote it." Like, if I don't think it's good, I want to make sure that I'm putting something out that if somebody does do something kind like that, the people that are buying it are getting what they pay for. They're not shortchanged. They're getting an A+ effort from me, because I want the buck that they earned, that they had to work for, that they're spending. I want it to be worth it to them. And it's also why I made sure everybody knew it was an adult book, because there's a bunch of people who just can't read that, and that's okay. It's not for them. I don't want that to end up in their hands, because it's not for them. That's a waste of money for them. Yeah.
So, is this book still available on Amazon? And I'm kind of curious, is your other work available on Amazon as well? And
it is.
What name should they look for?
So the other one was a tongue-in-cheek name, because I was writing it and just having fun. So the other erotic work is under the name Chase Boner, Boehner. And by far, the most popular tale out of all those I wrote is Sharing Kate. But I think, in my personal opinion, the best one I wrote that I was the happiest with was Keeping Kara.
Kara, what one was that about?
That's one with a lot of knots and bondage in it.
Okay.
Something
so really kind of Wonder Woman type of style.
Yeah, it was something I had no experience with bondage. Never wanted to be tied up. Never wanted to tie anybody else up. But at the time I wrote that was a big thing in like the communities. I saw it a lot. So I did a little research. That way when I was describing the knots, it made sense about what I was describing. The people that are in it, and there's a triangle in it. But I think to me that was the best one I did. Although Sharing Kate is by far the most popular. That one still sells every week. So.
Oh, really? And how long ago was it that when you put that one out?
Oh gosh, I had to be 2012, 2011, 2012. And I barely make anything from it, because it's just a 99-cent buy. I make pennies on it, but it's not the point. I'm just happy that it connects with people and that they enjoy it.
Yeah, and it must be a great feeling knowing like it's still selling to this day. Like, especially 2012, that wasn't yesterday. That was quite a while ago. So having something you did that long ago still selling to today it must be a good feeling.
Yeah, and hopefully hopefully the needle keeps selling. I hope it does. I think it's a fun little horror book. I don't think there's anything in it that's fluff. I think everything that's in it is in there for a reason. I think the explicitness of it is there for a reason because of what the monster is, because of what the monster needs, because I think it all feeds the story, or else I wouldn't leave it in there. I wouldn't put something in it if I didn't think it was serving a purpose.
So I'm definitely going to link all of that down below, especially your new book, Need. And I want to say thank you for joining me, but I do have one question before we get out of here. But
Sure.
guys, go follow Gary B on Instagram. He's posting a lot of great comics and that on Instagram on a daily. He's also doing great things over on his YouTube channel at 1011 and other things popping up here and there from Gary B. The link to his Instagram and the link to his YouTube is down below, as well as the Amazon links for his books. Go check them out if you have any interest in them whatsoever. Just go give them a try. Go check them out. See if they are for you. My last question, I always like to end it with comics and that. What are you reading and what do you recommend? It could be comics in the last 5 years or even movies in the last 5 years, because you're a really big movie buff. So I really want to get your take on some of the greatest movies that you've watched in the last 5 years as well.
Well, what I'm reading is obviously Conan from Titan Comics, Solomon Kane from Titan Comics, Savage Sword of Conan from Titan Comics. I'm also reading the Heat Seeker and Gun Hunting series because I think those are fun adult noir titles. I think those are well done. As far as other things I'm reading Red Sonja books from Dynamite. I'm reading from Marvel. I'm a big Marvel fan of their women. Black Cat, any series with Black Cat. She's got a new mini coming out. I read those. Captain Marvel is one of my favorites. That last run by Kelly Thompson was amazing. I was just looking through it again last night. Great character development through the whole thing. It's too bad people are put off from the character in the comics because of the media, which I also enjoyed, though. On the DC side of things, Tom King's Wonder Woman is absolutely amazing. Kelly Thompson's Absolute Wonder Woman is amazing. And I really enjoyed this last 20-issue Power Girl series. I thought it was really good, and I didn't think enough people got the eyes on it. There was cover buys because of how Power Girl's drawn, but it was actually really good storytelling. And the thing that I really enjoyed about it is the serious parts were great at being serious, but the parts where there was humor interjected, the humor never felt forced. I actually would laugh out loud because the humor hit. I'm blanking on the writer right now, but they did a phenomenal job. Like everything about that Power Girl book worked for me. And
have you checked out Birds of Prey? Because like you mentioned Kelly Thompson, and Kelly Thompson is writing Birds of Prey as well.
I have not, and I know she's writing it. But at the end of the day, there's only so much I can collect or read.
That's
so, I do read a lot of Kelly Thompson. Unfortunately, I can't read all of everything someone puts out, especially now between with these awesome writers, and they're writing for DC, they're writing for Marvel, and they're writing independent projects. That's just who has that much money or time?
Yeah, that's true.
But
so on the movie side, or did you have more comics? Sorry.
I'm gonna go see Superman this Sunday. Saw Jurassic World last week. Gonna go see Fantastic Four. Really looking forward to Megan 2.0. I really loved the first Megan. I thought it was a fun little genre film. And I thought it had its own kind of niche that it hit. It wasn't quite a Chucky movie. It was its own thing. And oh gosh, there was a movie I just watched recently, and I can't think of it. And the actress was great in it, and the guy that plays Huey from The Boys was in it.
Oh,
and she was
Novocaine.
Huh? No, not Novocaine.
No. Okay, I'm not sure.
What's his name? So cast. I'm going to tell you the movie. Oh, Jack Quaid. Companion. That movie caught me by surprise. That movie is a lot of fun, and the actress in it, and it made me check out more of her movies. She was so good. Sophie Thatcher did an amazing job of playing this robot with emotions, and you rooted for her, and you felt bad for the abuse she was going through. Without her performance, I don't know if this movie works. With her performance, I think this is a must watch genre flick. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it. It was fantastic. I was 100% impressed with Companion.
And any other movies that you were excited for the last 5 years that you recommend?
I wanna watch Creator. I'm probably gonna buy that and watch that this weekend. It's hard because I mentioned a lot of them already. We're like Where Evil Lurks was a great horror movie. Parasite on Netflix was great. I'm looking forward to return to that. Some more foreign horror movies as it pops up and I become aware of it. There's a fun one coming up on Shudder called Monster Island, which I'm really looking forward to, which looks like a complete blast. But I'm always just open-minded. I'm keeping my eyes open for films. I thought the last Halle Berry one that came out, Don't Let Go or whatever it was called, was really good. I thought that was a fun movie. Went and saw that at the theater. But I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff coming out, and you don't know how good it could be until you give it a shot.
That's true. Well, Gary B, I loved hearing you talk about everything that you love in the nerd world and the geek world. I always love hearing people because when you talk, you're very passionate about what you watch, what you read, what you're excited for, and I really love seeing that. It makes me hopeful for everything nerd, because that's the whole reason I got into the comic community, is to talk about things I love. And it was a joy to hear you talk about everything you love for the past hour. So I thank you for coming on and
thanks for having me,
gracing me with your love for everything that you nerd out about. Like I said, the link to his Instagram, YouTube, and all of the work that he did is down below. Go check it out. Like, subscribe, comment. And as always, my friends, stay freaking nerdy.